Okay, I intended to have the video following Justice League to be a review of it, and I will do that. But something happened on the way to the show. So I'll use Bounding in the Comics here, reporting on this incident to kind of sum it up and what have you. So here it is. Yes, Justice League director Zack Snyder attacks his fans. Implies they are part of a hate group. Well, jeez, because he was like the last man standing. This where he would defend his fans, and people were calling them toxic and all this, and there was just an onslaught of that leading up to the debut of the film. Calling it dangerous, even to the point that people who had reviewed the film and said, well, okay, it's better than Joss Whedon's movie, but this is dangerous and all that sort of stuff. And, and then for him to bend the knee right on the eve of the movie's debut, it's just took a lot of wind out of the sails. And, all right. Anyway, so the deal was Geeks and Gamers got together. They met with him. Well, they talked to him and have him come on their live stream as they set up this deal to raise money for suicide prevention. And they do a lot of fundraisers, like Drunk 3PO does it, and raised an awful lot of money to help causes like this. And what was the other one? Human trafficking and stuff like that. They do that. And you think it was a great thing, but of course they're enemies, so they're just doing that to cover up their hate or whatever. It's just like, God damn. There's nothing. There's scorched earth every time. So this was Uche Waneri's YouTube channel, and he's a part of Geeks and Gamers. Interestingly enough, his politics are very much on the left, and yet he's good friends with the founder of Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy. And who's Jeremy, of course, is unabashedly out and proud Trump supporter, and yet imagine that they get along. Yeah, imagine that, because they're normal guys. But Uche was a huge fan of Snyder's DC films, and was a big supporter of Release the Snyder Cut. And so you got this going, so to raise money for the suicide prevention, and certainly in light of what happened to Snyder's daughter and all of that, and have him on, and to also, of course, celebrate the movie coming out. And it's all good stuff. Well, so Snyder comes on, the guest of honor. And it's all very exciting. But then he says, hey, wait, just a quick thing before we get started. I know that on our donation page, we still have the Geeks and Gamers logo. I just want to say that we talked about this, and we are not really affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned. And I really just want to make that clear. Now, this in and of itself, apparently they didn't intend for the logo to be there, but it was, it's, oh yeah, we'll take it down. He comes on there and makes that statement. It's unnecessary. Obviously, he's not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers. Zack Snyder's going to start doing YouTube videos as part of Geeks and Gamers. It's like, no. And it was a positive thing in that, we're coming together and we're going to support this great cause. At the time he came on, it was up at $58,859. Some of that was my money I donated. And then it kind of came to a screeching halt for a while. I think eventually they got it to 70 or 79,000 or 78,000, something like that, as I'm taping this, I believe. So, all right, he does that, and then, well, whatever, and he goes on. But then, oh boy, he mentioned the recent Atlanta spa murders, and he said, I also, all right, so see, maybe this here, the also, maybe that's the key word, see, but I don't think it's going to work. So he says, and I also want to say, in light of recent events, I think if Justice League teaches us anything, it's about coming together, and there is no room for hate. I just think that it's an important message. And as the father of Asian children, it really hits close to home for me. And I just want to put that out there, that there is no room for hate. And that is what it is all about. Okay. So Justice League teaches us about being united and all that stuff. And that's, the course of the movie is forming the Justice League. And there are all these different members and backgrounds and whatnot. Yet they come together for a common cause. Well, that's what this whole live stream was. That's what the thing was. And so you dump this on their lap. And Jeremy initially had even said, I think, he's a bit clumsy in his delivery here, and maybe he didn't really, but clarification is necessary. You can't just do that and slap Geeks and Gamers as if they're analogous to this murderer, And also as a side here, and this was announced quite a bit time earlier before this stream happened and everything. So it's a bit irresponsible to go with the narrative, because it appears the police came out and gave a statement. The murderer had confessed and discussed his motive as being that he was a sex addict and he blamed these massage parlors for his affliction. And that appeared at that time, as they were stating it, was more the motive. They hadn't had anything about him having any anti-Asian bigotry or what have you as his motive. And plus, two of the victims were white. But so that kind of muddles the narrative. But a lot of politically active people ran with it as fast as they could. George Takei, Mr. Sulu does this on Twitter and all that. It's always the case when things like this happens. The initial approach to it, or what have you, or deciding what it was, is wrong. It's like whenever there's like there's mass shootings and whatnot, and a lot of times there's reports of a second gunman, and there's almost never a second gunman, stuff like that. But these days, in the hyper politicization of everything, even to your brand of toilet paper, could be, and it's just horrible what happens here. And so you run on a false narrative here, what appears to be for this, and smear people who were helping you support a cause that you believe in. It's just, this is really awful. And this is before I saw the movie, and it really kind of took the wind out of the sails. And so now hearing it, I said, oh, what the hell's going on? Warner Brothers got upset, yelled at him, and demanded he had to distance himself. Well, just the initial statement here of distancing himself is completely unnecessary, because I don't know anyone. Of course, he's not affiliated with them. They're just agreeing to do this for a good cause. And then gives a statement about, hey, us united. But let me distance myself. It doesn't make any sense. So I again say, well, maybe his saving grace is also, I'm not saying it has anything to do with the initial statement, but that's not enough, because it clearly comes across as, they're a hate group, don't you? And all this. And apparently Jeremy, in talking to him, Jeremy is an interesting character here from Geeks and Gamers, is that he likes some Snyder films, but not his DC films. And he said he told him that, and Snyder said, yeah, cool, whatever, not everybody's going to like your movies. That's just the way it is. But it's also, I don't know if he got into it. He didn't say he did, but it was interesting with all the Last Jedi crap that he made this comparison between Snyder and Rian Johnson, and that Snyder took a lot of crap for his DC movies. A lot of people didn't like them, and they were trashing them and all this sort of stuff. And he said, but Snyder took it like a man. Whereas Ryan Johnson loses his mind, accuses people of being Russian bots and all this stuff. You know? And so it was an apt comparison. And so basically Jeremy said, I didn't like his movies, but I respect him. I suspect that respect is now gone because you bent the knee here to Warner Brothers' demands. And it's not just bending the knee to them. It's smearing people who did a great thing for something you believe in. And these were a lot of fans of his who were big-time supporters for the Snyder Cut being released. Ryan Cannell, Lethal Lightning, and My Nerdy Home. They Ryan Cannell knew a lot of his videos because he's an expert, if you will, on the expanded universe stories in Star Wars. But he was also a big supporter of Snyder Cut, and this just has to have broken his heart, but it's one of those things. Don't ever meet your hero. And there's no spine in Hollywood. The only spine was Gina Carano, who tweeted out a congratulations to Geeks and Gamers while this was going on their success at raising all this money. Here it is. This is as the writing of the article that it was 78,000. So it's a lot of money they raised for a very good cause. On a personal note, I am also a survivor. I was in a bad place many years ago and wanted to go check out. But fortunately, there were people who helped me, and it didn't happen. But if you're someone who doesn't have someone who might help you or what have you, or you and I understand the motive of not talking to your loved ones about it because they'll stop you. I understand that. But if you reach out to a service or what have you, then that could save you. And that's the whole point of an organization like that. And, and this would have been a victorious week. And it still might, based on numbers they might get. But I imagine there's a lot of people. This is too much like what Disney just did. And probably going to cancel their HBO Max subscriptions, It's like, just constant of this, and to be associated with a murderer. That's a tough one to forgive. And the only out is that he was clumsy in this delivery. But and of course I understand, obviously this was something Warner Brothers wanted. But if this is the price for Justice League 2 and 3, I don't want it. One of the things about the Snyder Cut, it was clear it's not a woke movie. There's none of that in there. So even if you get a Justice League 2 and 3, you can imagine it will be in there. Of course, the irony of all of this is that, there was people calling, Restore the Snyderverse is a terrorist threat now. A bunch of comic book pros saying this, Jamal Igle saying, we're all terrorists because, we wanted to see a movie, and all that type of stuff. This is the crowd you want to play into, that's bringing in the cash for Disney right now, isn't it? But right here, Vulture's Abraham Reisman described Snyder's supporters. These people aren't supposed to be calling the shots. They're not supposed to be deciding what they get to buy. But this really encapsulates the attitude. He says, they're class outsiders, drunk on atavistic rage and viciously abusive towards their foes. Such people are destined to be at the fringe, not the hub of power. Power, say. That's, what an aristocratic, fascist even statement, and bigoted. But it encapsulates the whole thing. That attitude is very much at the heart of the cult-like thinking of Hollywood, and that's it. They don't like you, they hate you, and they're not going to give you what you want for your hard-earned money. No, they're going to give you what you need because they're better than you, smarter than you, and you need to be taught a lesson, you disgusting little piss ants. That's it. Ah, yeah, these people. Imagine that, huh? So there you go. That's so he goes on some others, uh, how the movement went and how many people. Oh yeah, Thomas Bacon screenwriter is just the absolute worst. His Doctor Who articles are terrible. But again, yeah, they're all toxic and terrible. But Thomas Bacon isn't. So it looks like he bent the knee. So he's just another Hollywood scumbag. Well, he certainly lost his spine right at the last minute. All he had to do was just say, "Hey guys, thanks for raising the money," and take a few questions about the movie, and that would have been it. But no, had to do that. Now, why do this right on the eve of this debut, which is very popular, and all this excitement about it? This is my pure speculation, but J.J. Abrams doesn't want any Snyderverse or anything like that. He wants to be the head of any future DC movies, and he is very apt at manipulating these politically correct movements for his gain. And it's possible someone got in there and said that Zack Snyder had stupidly associated himself with some alt-right fan site. And that's all it takes, and he fell for it and stepped in it. And that's that. But as to, did they prepare the statement that he had to associate them with this horrible murder? I don't know. Probably, but that in and of itself, if he had just said, "I'm not affiliated with Geeks," I don't even know if I'd be even caring about that. It's stupid because it's so obvious, but bringing Atlanta into this, that's a tough one, and it's a damn shame because earlier people were saying, "God, we can't even have a day," the day before, because all the shill attacks came out and calling everybody toxic and terrorists and stuff. It's like, oh boy, and then, well, get ready, it's gonna get worse. Just can't have nice things, huh? So. Yeah, I'm not a happy camper over this. So trust no one, except apparently Gina Carano. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Just look forward to Daily Wire movies. Hollywood is intent on destroying itself. So get out of the way and let them do it, I suppose. It's all very sad. But anyway, so when I'm in a better mood, I'll give an honest review of the film, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.